just arrived in Yixing, and now we are gonna get a taxi to Dingshu, which is a town just a little bit southern of Yixing, where actually the teapot scene takes place.
对吧？
你是什么国家的？美国的还是哪里的？
我是意大利人，
意大利。
对。Asking how long does it take to do a teapot like this? 1 week.
Yes, 1 week.
Of work. Where I am today, I am in the studio of Fang Xiao Li. Did I pronounce it correctly? Was okay? Fang Xiao Li. Okay. And she's a famous artist here in Yixing. All her pottery is exhibited there on the showcase. And originally I thought she would do only fairly large teapots, because when you do all by hand, if the teapot is larger, is a little bit easier. But then she brought out this little case when I mentioned that European customer likes small teapots, and here we have very little ones, and those are also all made by hand by you, Shogun Nida.
对对对对。
And they are super cute. They are really, really nice. We have 2 Juni, and also, oh, look at this. 这个是多少？
60。
60. So this is 60 milliliter handmade zini teapot.
I am in a famous road with many Yixing tea shops. Actually, in this road there is only Yixing tea shops, one next to each other. And I am in search of small pots. I came here specifically for that. Now it's fairly difficult to find small pots because really the vast majority is well above 100 milliliters. But I have some friends here, and even if they may not offer those sizes, they are helping me in finding them.
For example, these pots here, they are all between 70 and 100 milliliters. Let's have a look. We have just another few here small, like this one here, which is 80 milliliters with a really wide opening. Let's say a good one for large leaves, shampooer and yancha.
There are different ways to do Yixing teapot. One is completely handmade. It's a very time-consuming effort that takes about a week, and those teapots fetch really high prices. Then there is a half handmade, and that way is still handmade, but they use a mold to simplify the process. But there is also a machine-made teapot. Let's find out what's that about.
We are arriving at another Yixing teapot workshop.
once they are all dried, they will put those up there. Of course, they are not yet fired. They are just dry enough to demold them, avoiding that the shape changes. Here we see the lids. They are done in exactly the same fashion, always in the mold with the turning machine. Once the lid and the body are ready, they move on here, and like this guy is doing, he's refining on the turning table both the body and the lid for fitting. So actually, even in the completely machined way, they still have to do some work by hand. There is also another way, and is using a different material that is liquid, and then you just basically put the liquid material in a mold and you dry it. That's the simplest way, and of course also the less valued, because it's actually using even a different material. This guy do exactly the same thing as the guy before. Each of them is working on a different teapot. And for example, here he's refining the lids. He's doing the lids here, they have no hole. And here he does the hole, and he does a little bit of refinement. And then later on, he will match the lid to the body as done before. Today, you have seen different levels of teapots. When we were at Fang Xiao Li, she was really a high-class artist, and that's why the pot fetches so high price, and also, of course, the material comes accordingly. Then we have seen other teapots, and those were half handmade. There is still quite some effort behind that. There is still a lot of handmade work actually, but they still get the help from the mold. What you have seen here in this factory is actually machine-made teapot. Still some handwork though at the end, and that's quite time consuming. So what's the option here? You either spend a lot of time in refining the pot, in adjusting the thickness, in fitting the lid, and you have actually a very good teapot. Maybe the material is not that good, but it has good fitting, the right thickness, and so on. But sometimes what they do after the automatic machine, they just do a very rough fitting of the lid. They don't change the thickness, and they sell it on the web. So this way they can really sell at very low price. And of course they won't use very high quality material for that, because they need a lot of quantity. Yesterday I visited many artists, and today is time for placing the orders. We are driving from one Yixing teapot artist to the next, and we are still in Dingshu, so the suburb of Yixing where the teapots are made, and not only made but also the clay comes from here. So we are actually in a town, but the famous nannuoshan is actually here. So it's just you see it there a little bit, and it's no more possible to take the stone from here. You see the gate? This is the gate of nannuoshan, and it's all closed because it's no more possible to get the clay out of here. It has been closed in year 2000, right?
Yes, and this is the end.
And this is the end. You see it here, yeah. So as you can see, it's not that the mountains with the clay are very far away and they are huge mountains. They are actually just little hills that have been exploited for quite some time, and then in year 2000 the government decided to stop collecting the stones from there. This was Huanlongshan, and just before that, maybe 500 meters, there was Qinglongshan. And now there are some artists that have clay on storage that they bought back in the days in large quantities because at that time it was cheap, and they keep on the clay and keep it there for usage, right, and for the years to come. So it's not uncommon to have families owning few tons of clay. However, there are new artists that maybe don't have the connection with the Yixing teapot making from back 20, 30 years ago, and they actually get the clay from other mountains, still around Yixing. Maybe you go a little bit farther south to Changxing, or even farther south to Wuzhou. There is the same mountain chain, basically. It's the same series of mountains that continue from Yixing all the way south, and it's also similar type of clay. It's just less good than the original one from here. It's not as hard, but nonetheless, you get, let's say, some teapots out of it. And this is the type of clay that is used not only for half unmade teapot of family, artist family not having the original one, but also, for example, for machined teapots where large quantities of clays are needed. I am back at the Yixing railway station. My 2 days in Yixing have been extremely fruitful. I was able to contact new artists, in particular one with whom we are starting a cooperation for developing customized teapots just made for nannuoshan. We have discussed about the design. They will spend the next 1.5 months to really complete the design on paper, and then they will start the production. And then I also met another 2 new artists that provided me with a few small teapots that are so much requested. At the very end of the day, yesterday, when I was in the lobby of the hotel waiting for some black tea from one of the artists, another Western guy just crossed me and recognized me, and it was Marcel from Unhurten and T-Log. You will find him and his beautiful teapots on Instagram. So we spent about an hour discussing our trips. He's almost at the end of his, and I'm actually basically just starting mine now. As said, here at the station, let's see where I'm going next.